ZEC gave us a head and shoulders, crashed, then recovered, and it's now sitting in our ideal retracement zone. But is it still ideal, or is this it for Zcash? Now previously this has been an extremely bullish asset, but once ZEC got up to the top of its trading range, previously last tested back in November 2025, not too long ago, we got rejected and a reversal pattern formed. And we were previously eyeing this area here for a retrace, which is why the price action is sitting. So I guess we got that one right. But we didn't count for this very big sell-off on the confirmation of this head and shoulders pattern, which took us all the way back down to this 250 odd level, which is where this latest rally essentially launched off from. There's a double bottom, a little bit of confirmation. So there you go. The interesting thing is, of course, there was a lot of standing liquidity in these areas, and it's no coincidence that the candle body close for this 4-hour candle did stop here, highlighting that people are still looking at Zcash as an opportunity to enter at lower prices for bullish continuation, as opposed to other assets like ADA and Sol, which are really selling off, and people aren't really going to be looking at them for longs anytime soon. So they're putting their money, putting their attention into Zcash. And that shows because we had this big crash, of course, but then, of course, the liquidity has now pushed us back up. And it's where we would expect to come back down to a retest of this 200 MA, this sort of area here, which we've broken out of. If you look carefully, there's resistance, and then we have support on the flip side, and here we are again. But we can't deny this was a bearish pattern, and now that uptrend has been broken, and we're now in a downtrend. So how do we trade this with ZEC? Well, firstly, with a little bit of confidence, knowing that there's a lot of liquidity looking to come in here, but we need to just recognize a few things. This is a key support level. It was here. But if we lose the 200 MA, this isn't going to be a viable long entry, so we can scrub that. Because if we're going to come in here, well, we might as well just come in here. That's the idea, okay? So if we lose the 200 MA, you want to be eyeing up this lower level, which this recent crash kind of stopped at, which is $250 to $200. That $250, $200 range is a very good area for Zcash. It represents the bullish trading zone, and even though there is a potential for more downside from here, there's going to be a lot of liquidity here, as we've already just established. So the only play we have is a long play as flush to the 200 MA as possible. And you can see other traders have had this idea, because here's the order block right in that little zone, and that zone is essentially between 370 and 400. So 370 and 400, that is your most manageable entry point for a long. So we're waiting for a dip below 400. We're hoping for that support to break, looking for a little dip in here, a little wick, and then we scoop up there potentially with some ranging price action like so, or maybe another rally which might just peter out a little bit lower level than we previously did. So that's the idea. So not as clear cut as it has been for ZEC, but there is an opportunity here for long trades, but you need to be looking to come in at flush with the 200 EMA, because then if it is lost, it is likely you're going to get those interactions with it on the way down, which will allow you to reposition and get out. And given the fact that we know that there's a lot of standing liquidity down here, it does give us a little bit of a safety net. But unfortunately, this crash has eaten into that, right? Another move down here is probably going to start to exhaust the buyers, so we could see things moving down. But the reality is that we've got Bitcoin oversold, and even though it's giving us a lot of bearish signals, which could suggest more downside, a little bit of levity here from Bitcoin could give ZEC the time to form a foundation at these higher levels. But you want to be taking an entrance within this order block, and the position size and your take profit needs to reflect the bearish signals we've now got, which is a head and shoulders pattern, which has been confirmed. And maybe if you're looking to come in down here, you just look at take profits in here, just when we bearishly retest that pattern, just for a range play. So acknowledging that ZEC now is potentially just going to range and find its feet again for a while, with the chance of maybe some more downside. That's the situation with ZEC, as opposed to what it has been, which has been very bullish asset, just looking for that next leg up. But as I've previously said, there needs to be a warning with ZEC, because of course once we come back up to these previous levels tested, probabilities are we're going to come back down as we have done previously, because the market really isn't bullish enough to maybe break into price discovery. But that's Zcash.